What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 694 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by Ben Funky Askren and James Dean Rader, our favorite Russian asset. And we got a squad, and JD's nervous. He put on his nervous mustache for today because he knows the teams that USA is going to be bringing to Oslo are very, very formidable. An amazing World Team Trials, had so much fun. Let's check in with Ben Funky Askren. Ben, what'd you think?
I thought it was a great World Team Trials. I think the World Team is outstanding. I'm predicting a United States World title. I think the Russians, they're partying. I see them on Instagram. They're in Moscow. They're having fun. They're not training. We're ready to come take a team title.
We're ready to take it. I agree.
I mean, they're literally at training camp in Moscow, but
they're partying. They're partying.
No,
dude.
They're partying.
You also know how they party? It's like, we're gonna eat some tiramisu.
No. It's they're raging. It's like
Makov's not on the team anymore.
Studio 54. What was
the
he a big
Russian
partier?
asset would defend Russia.
Oh yeah, wow, what a shocker. We say they're partying, he says they're at training camp. Russian propaganda. Propaganda JD. So the fun thing about a tournament like this is, where do you even start? I guess we could just go in weight order, but there were so many. Each weight seemed to have its own little storyline. Like for 61, there were two huge stories. One, Dayton Fix is
so
back.
So what's your number one story? If gun to your head, you can only talk about one story. What is it?
Burroughs.
Burroughs?
Burroughs. Okay. Because one, he did what I thought he would do. Not just make the team, but look like the JB of old. The JB that gets to eat and be strong and feel good. What?
Wait, why do you think he looked like the JB of old? He had, when I think of the JB old, now listen, I think he looked great. I can say a lot more things, but he's not the JB of old. The JB of old would have 10-0, 10-0, 10-0, 10-0, and then like 5-0 over Dieringer. You know what I'm saying? Like that. The old. Go look at his results from freaking 2000, say 13, 14, that era. You know, if we look at his bracket, he went 7. Sorry,
he was hardly in brackets then.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I mean, he was blowing through other really good people, but damn, freaking internet's slow. What the heck? Anyways, he had 4 decisions, all which were relatively competitive. I guess for me, I don't think he looks like the JB of old, Christian. I actually think, I think it speaks volumes to the ability of his way to still find ways to win. I mean, he is just a winner to the utmost sense.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so. I think you need to give more credit to the quality of competition that he's hitting. I'm not listening.
Load.
Yeah, maybe you're right that he would be a little more dominant, but like I'm thinking back to his U.S. Open bracket. It was Dan Valamont and then Kevin LaValle instead of Hayden Hidley, Chance Marcel, or Jason Nolf and Ringer. It's just like the quality of competition is insane.
Yeah,
and I know
Marcel is good, but and Hidley, obviously Hidley, we think of him highly, but he hasn't really done anything above 157 or 154 in freestyle, and this is up. We're almost up 20 pounds now.
I looked at that tournament and then how he wrestled in the finals. Like he was absolutely optimized and keyed on putting his best performance together in that finals match. I thought he looked the best in the finals. I thought he looked the most dominant. I mean, apart from the 4 that Ringer got, it was basically all JB for 12 minutes.
Until the last minute.
And then that's why it's the number one story. That's why it's the number one story. There's real concern about the health of his leg. And the concern starts with Jordan. I mean, if you watch the post-match interview, this is a guy, I mean, Jordan is, when he's on the team and when he's in front of the camera, he's almost performative. And he could not, it was pretty obvious that the leg injury was really weighing on him. And he comes up and, I mean, in the moment, you heard me, I just thought it was a cramp or something with his calf.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's something more serious. And so now, once again, we're going to have this great question of Burroughs' health leading into the World Championships. And is he going to be able to go? Is he going to be 100% if he makes it? What is the injury? Obviously, that night, it wasn't known, right? Even when they were leaving and you talk with people on your way out the door, and it's like, well, it looks okay. It looks like, hey, there's no tendon damage or anything like that, but we still don't really know the full extent of the injury. And now the main story is it's not, okay, I make the team in June and then I have till September. It's you made it in September 12th and you are wrestling October 3rd or 4th, not even a month. So it's a really different sort of challenge to get your body ready and compete in how much time is he be able to have off? I think Jordan is one good thing is the weight is not much of a consideration. If he had some big pull down to this weight, then it's like, well, how's he going to be able to maintain his weight, not being able to be upright on his feet? What were your thoughts on the injury when you saw it happen and then as it materialized afterwards?
Yeah, it was tough to see whether it was just a cramp or something else. I mean, man, usually a cramp you can work out. And I was actually surprised he didn't take more time because as we know, there's no injury time limits in freestyle. So he should have taken a couple extra seconds there if he needed them because it did not look like he was wrestling anywhere near 100% at the end of that match.
Do we have the Burroughs injury by chance late in that that would be definitely something to check out if not.
I can get it up.
Yeah. So I mean, guys, I don't think I'm not being insulting at all saying he's not the Burroughs of old. I think I'm giving him a compliment of saying like, well, no one can stay young forever. And his ability to find ways to win. I mean, Christian, I told you yesterday is like, he doesn't get enough credit for his defense. His defense, not from a toughness, not from a grit, not from a strength, but really from a technical standpoint, his defense is so freaking good. I'm so impressed with him. Obviously him and Deering are ranked number 1 and 2, so I think there's a really good chance if he's healthy that he's bringing home another world gold medal.
Yeah, do we have some of those sequences of JB defending the Nolf for the Marsteller leg defense? Yeah, here's Nolf. Go ahead and run that. Talk us through this position. So it's a low single here from Nolf.
Oh, that was just, I was thinking the second period, but that's just good basic defense.
Right here is that one.
This one, yeah, right here. Look at this one. Well, I mean, just the balance, the flexibility, the hips. I mean, he's feeling it all. He goes right there. He comes back. He fights hands. And honestly, he got pushed out, but you see right there, he was getting the takedown if he needed to, right? Or I'm sorry, if they had stayed in balance, he was going to get the takedown. So just in that sequence, he shows so many things. He shows balance. He shows flexibility. He shows the ability to go to multiple different things because he's attacking hands. He's turning down. It was just so good. Let's do a chance one too if we have that.
Yeah, let's go.
This one was fun also. He goes in splits position, I believe. Again, I mean, that flexibility right there is, man, so flexible.
How did he get his foot down so easily? I want to see that again.
I know, right?
Like, how do you get your foot? Boom, he just pulls the hand off.
Yeah.
His hands must be
that's one
strong too.
Yeah, and then he goes splits again, and this is one where, he's going splits. Is he going to sit the corner? It's just such a good defensive swing. I think he ends up scoring at the end of this. But yeah, I was stalemate. So I was really impressed with him defensively, and it's like that's what really good people do is they find more ways to win. And honestly, when I'm speaking from a sports psych standpoint about not being stuck in your rut and having so many ways to win, Jordan Burroughs is one of the guys that I bring up, and there's so many matches to cite different ways that he wins.
Yeah, and here we've got the injury here if you want to watch this. And one thing I noticed, it happens with like 51 seconds to go in this. So you see a little bit of...
It's when he's fighting on the edge, right?
Yes. So one thing that I didn't notice in real time is after he gets up, he has a big kind of... It almost looks like he trips, but like the leg. I didn't notice that in real time. I don't know if I was looking elsewhere when he got up.
To me, it felt like it cramped back up because initially that's what you guys are saying. You guys, it's hard for us to see. You guys are saying cramp. Yeah. So I think, he tried to take a step and it re-cramps.
So let it play from here because once he gets up, you can actually maybe skip ahead a little bit because I want to see it when he gets up and the walk he does. Afterwards, so he'll get up to his feet here. If you're not watching right now, but he gets up and you're just thinking it's a cramp or whatever, and when he walks back to center, but 51 seconds to go, this match is like sort of in the balance. All Ringer needs was a 1 and then a 2 right there.
Yeah, right there.
That buckle. It looks like he trips on the mat, but it's really just I guess the leg just kind of gives out underneath him, but. He gets that left leg back. He keeps that foot away, and he's able to not get pushed around, which I think is a real. Because you would think that's his. What
He kind of did get pushed out. He gets pushed out twice here, Christian. So I mean,
but look, he's holding here though. I mean, he's getting the
healthy Jordan Burroughs
arena.
Probably isn't getting pushed out at all, right?
Completely agree. But the fact that if he's on a bum wheel right now and his trail leg is the one that's is really preventing the movement of backwards, I mean, that's incredible strength to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can see. I guess it's probably coming up here. You can see kind of gives on this next one. I believe it's right here on the edge, where you could tell, something's
right there.
See right there, like he kind of just gives it up. Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, where he's holding on the leg is kind of weird. I mean, because he's not holding his knee per se, right? He's kind of like holding, right there, lower on his shin.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of where he's holding. So I don't know if it's like an Achilles or, who knows.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely going to be something we're talking about, trying to learn about what the deal is. I would not expect much information about it between now and Oslo. I'm sure the world is watching. The world is waiting to hear. Obviously, the competition. I don't see anyone being able to beat that guy if he's healthy. But if he's not, it's going to be. It'll obviously be a question. Now, again, it's just like adding to the legend if he can overcome this injury and win a world title. We saw him do it in 2013, but that was 2013. Now it's 2021, and the recovery from injury is not going to be the same as it was when he was 25 maybe then.
Yes.
So
he's way younger.
But I think when I think old Burroughs is back. When's the last tournament you saw Jordan enter where his primary attack that he was looking for consistent was his double? It's been years.
It's been a while.
It's been years, Ben. 2017, I don't think it was.
You're right. So there's a while that he had a really good, like a low single that he was hitting, or maybe it was kind of even ankle pick-ish. But if you look in this tournament, man, he's really picking his spots. He's not super offensive. I mean, against Chance, he got one takedown. Against Nolf, we got two, right? He got two against Nolf. Hidley, I think he only got.
He was just one against Nolf.
Was it one against Nolf?
He had like he had a reattack type
No,
of
I
thing.
think he scored a second one, didn't he, in the second period? I thought maybe. Anyways, but yeah, it's not, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. The young Burroughs was like boom, 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 fire, fire, fire. I mean, he was a real volume shooter, and now he has changed and obviously adapting to what his body's giving him.
Yeah, very. It was. I don't know. I came away super impressed because I thought that was a really tough field and something he had to do in a long time. So he makes the team at 79 kilograms. In his post-match interview, you should check it out if you haven't. He's really subdued, really sort of the weight of the injury is definitely on the top of his mind. And, I thought that definitely speaks to the level. And another thing that was interesting is he makes the team, it's in Lincoln. They're going nuts for him. They're going nuts for he and James the whole weekend long. They obviously love him. And he gets his hand raised, and what wasn't captured on camera is he basically hopped out of the arena immediately. You can see that
on camera.
Okay.
You can see he was like hopping by. He tried taking two normal steps, and then all of a sudden he starts hopping.
Yes, and then he just got out of there. So normally he would, spend time with the fans and celebrate and be happy, and he's just like, I just got to get the heck out of here. So certainly could be something we're talking about for a little while. And exciting. Now, where do we want to go next, Ben? I think we're going to be having a guest here. Adeline Gray is going to be coming on here very, very soon.
I think Dayton Fix is the next biggest story, for sure.
No doubt. So he, after he beat Gross, it was like, all right, well, he's winning this, very obviously. It kind of felt like that to me when that happened. I had two moments where I was like, okay, I know how the rest of this story ends. After the first period of Gwiz Mason, I was like, this is over. Like, Gwiz is completely prepared.
Gwiz was... Yeah,
that's as good as I've seen him look. I thought he looked bigger and stronger, and
I agree.
He had Mason completely flummoxed throughout. I mean, for both matches.
I mean that's where I got to eat crow because I was totally thinking. I mean, I thought about, and I went back and kind of like glanced at those matches from December. It's like, Mason scored 8 points in one match, four takedowns right away, boom, right? And the next match he scores 10 points and he wins, and it's like, damn, like, okay, he scores all these points. How the hell is Gwiazdowski just going to shut him down? And he just shuts him down.
Right.
You know? And it's 10 months later or whatever.
Okay, we will.
I told y'all.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
continue.
All right, JD's going to gloat here. We'll save your gloating. We got a special guest. Stop talking about heavyweight men's. Let's talk to our heavyweight on the women's side, 5-time world champion, Olympic silver medalist, Adeline Gray. Adeline, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
So great. You have your teammates. Your full squad of the women's freestyle team has been assembled. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm excited. It's funny, you're watching the finals match, and I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but to some extent you're like, both these women can medal. So who's going to show up this day and who's going to perform? So it was pretty exciting to watch those finals matches and see who really showed up. Like we actually had some matches this past weekend that somebody shined, and it was exciting.
Who really stuck out to you? Obviously, a lot of attention was around 72 kilograms with Kylie and Kennedy. But for you, who stuck out and really impressed you this weekend?
I mean, I was most excited about the 72 weight class because those are kind of my people, the people I've been training with and kind of most involved with. So that was definitely the match I was most looking forward to. But I mean, Jenna and Jakara, how can you not be so excited about a 3-match series that goes into those final seconds of every match to decide decide who wins? And I mean, Jakara is the world champ at that weight, and she was our Olympian. And so to have her dethroned right now was a true upset. And Jenna looked great. And, I've had a lot of people ask me about, was that supposed to happen? Is this a close matchup? And, in the past, I've seen Jakara overtake Jenna in the practice room. And so for me, when Jenna came out and fought and she's at this lighter weight, I thought she looked very good. And I think we can pull out a medal at this weight class.
Yeah, I think unquestionably, JD and I were talking about that exact thing this morning before the show. I think that's one thing you notice the most about these trials is we've always had really good number ones, but now the depth is really insane. Someone like Amy Fernstein coming and taking out Ronna Heaton was really impressive to me. What are your thoughts on Kylie Welker's performance? And she just won a junior world title. She beat Kennedy Blades, who was a junior world champion. How do you think her style will translate to Oslo at 72?
I think a bigger thing is that Kennedy beat Kylie leading up to the Olympic trials as well. So, right. And that there's just so much growth that's happened. And you see that with younger athletes, right? You see these huge gains that can be made. Kylie showed up to every single camp, and she was wrestling Tamara and myself every single day leading up to the Olympics. And that matters, those reps matter, that experience matters. And she grew this summer. And I think you saw that when she stepped out on the mat against Kennedy, who on paper is better than she is. And so I was very excited and impressed with just like their matchup. Kylie came out there to fight, and she fought well, and she scored big points when she needed to. And overall, I think she's going to do very well in Oslo. The year of the Olympics is such a strange animal. There's a lot of people who retire, especially when we shift from 6 weights back to 10. You don't know who's staying at 76. It's only been a month. So are people staying light, and do they have enough time to cut down to 72? Like Natalia Variova is the world champ and medalist down at 72. Does she go down to 72, or does she stay up at 76? And so I think Kylie's success is going to depend on some of those top names and where they stay. And I just don't think those answers right now. Like, they sent out who's registered at each weight class, and we don't even know.
Right.
Our numbers were all over the place. So it's a unique beast, and I'm looking forward to seeing what my weight class kind of shakes out to be.
Yeah, and switching gears a little bit, talk about what you've been up to since the Olympics. I know when we spoke at the games, it was sort of a question: won't I compete at the Oslo Worlds? You've fortunately decided you are going to compete. What went into that thought process? Why are you going to compete just on such a short turnaround? And what's your training been like since? How much are you able to come down as you are preparing for October?
Yeah, I mean, it's a quick turnaround. We're only a couple weeks out, and like the athletes who just made the team have kind of a low week this week, and then they ramp right back up, and then they're supposed to be peaking for the biggest competition of their year in a lot of settings. And for me, we kind of got pigeonholed into it. Honestly, USA Wrestling was like, "We need your decision now," and I was sitting there just kind of dumbfounded, like, I can't believe you're asking me to make this major decision at this moment, and I'm frustrated to this point, obviously. But no, it's so soon, and I think it's hard because everyone's trying to get back off this COVID year, and they know that there's repercussions if we continue to push things back. And so I think it's just trying to figure out if this fits into our new schedule. And so it is a 4-year quad, like we have next year is literally the qualifier for the Olympics, and that's a huge statement to understand for our careers and understand that we need to be getting right back on the same track. So I do understand why we have to have the World Championship soon, but just from an emotional standpoint, it feels like we haven't had time to even think. So I kind of just took a couple weeks. I played some cards with my family. My husband and I went on vacation and found a beach somewhere for a couple of days. And then I just started right back into training and lifting, and or getting on the mat a few days a week, and just kind of managing as much training and fine tuning and decompressing from what happened at the Olympics. There's some big things that happen, and just trying to work through those and make sure that we're ready to step on the mat for World Championships.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure it was a tough decision, but I think wrestling fans are excited about the decision you made. Looking at your field, what do you know about who's going to be coming at 76? Obviously, the rumor was, at least at the time, was that Faken would not be competing. That was your opponent in the Olympic finals. Have you heard anything more about that? And is that a match you would really like to get back?
Oh, I'd love to wrestle against Faken again. I think she's an incredible competitor. Obviously, she's an Olympic champion now, and I've had some wins against her. So I'd love to see if the Olympic final is just kind of the nerves of the Olympics, if that's a fluke, or if she's actually made some real gains to kind of overtake where my wrestling's gotten to at this point. And it's as far as the rest of the field, though, I have so many people. There's like Europe and Canada and some South American countries that consistently have been medaling for the last 10 years, and Turkey. There's so many people that don't medal at the Olympics or the World Championships that are solid wrestlers who challenge me. And so the World Championships is still going to be tough. And so I did see a couple of new names on there, and obviously, especially looking at what our new crop looks like, Kennedy takes me down at will at practice, and Kylie's been putting up some fights against me in positions that I didn't even realize that I struggled in. And so it's been very eye-opening to see that the talent that's coming up is real and has to be taken seriously. And so I'm making sure to not take anything for granted when some of these younger kids come up and start wrestling me, even on this big stage. And so that's kind of the attitude I'm coming in, is that I'm wrestling all these Kylies and Kennedys out here when I don't really know their names.
Yeah. So one thing that's on a lot of wrestling fans' mind is Team USA's competition, and can we beat Japan, or can we catch Japan? They've been the gold standard in the sport since forever, basically. How close do you think Team USA is, and how do you think this team can compete against Japan in Oslo?
So it's a little bit of a loaded question, because right now Japan does not have their number one team on the docket to go to World Championships. And so I think we might be able to take out Japan's number 3 team. I don't know about the number 2 team right now. I haven't really looked at their full lineup yet and to see who is kind of showing up in that position. But right now, I mean, we proved it at the Olympics, like, we're not ready, and we need to make more strides to get there. And Japan has something truly special, and they're better than every other country in the world when it comes to women's freestyle wrestling. And it's incredible to watch, like, the 50 kilo weight class to tech through the Olympics, amazing, like, that's one of the toughest weight classes that there is, like, in the world. And she teched every single person. And granted, I think Sarah would have given her a match in the final. So I know we're like moments away from being there, but still we're moments away. And as anyone who's ever been in a wrestling match, those moments matter so much. And we work so hard to just win a few of those. And I think we've worked really hard to win a few. And so we still have a lot of work to do before we overtake and dethrone the champions who've held this spot for so long.
Awesome. So, big week for women's wrestling. One, Andy Hamilton just put out an article. It looks like we are getting really, really close to a major D1 program adding women's wrestling. Just how big do you think that could be for the sport in general, and particularly women's wrestling?
It's massive, like the system that NCAA has built around D1 wrestling is incredible. Just the alumni, the partnership. I mean, just the overall family that you guys have created that gets people excited about wrestling. Women need that. Like it's preparing women to go to school and have that same opportunity of being on a team and doing the things that all of us get to, a lot of D1 men are getting to experience right now, going to a top university, competing on this grand stage, having that support system that's not just their program, but also their whole school. And those big schools have something really special. And so for women to be a part of that would be huge. And I think it'll be huge for the push that we're making on the high school level when, ADs are looking at adding women's programs. They're like, well, right now there's smaller schools, but do we have big D1 schools that we can offer our top students and our top athletes? And this step could be massive. I think you will see a lot more states be willing to step up and add programs. And that's huge. That's providing opportunities for women to play sports, to learn how to take care of their bodies, how to mentally and physically get stronger. And that's better for everyone in the world. If we have a stronger population mentally and physically, that's going to be better for everyone. And so I'm just excited that those education opportunities and athletic opportunities are going to be there for young women.
Amen. And one of the last things I want to get to this Friday, Who's Number One, our first ever all women's wrestling card there on Who's Number One. How excited are you to watch those ladies scrap on Friday evening?
Oh, I'm pumped. My sister was just telling me that there's a Colorado woman out there. There's a couple of women. I think there's a Utah woman who's wrestling too. But yeah, I'm really excited to see just the fire behind some of those matchups. And I think you're going to have a lot of points scored is what we're estimating. So that's what we're hoping for. It's just a lot of action.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait for it either. It's Who's Number One week, which is a big week here at FloWrestling. The ladies card, September 17th. Boys card, September 18th. Adeline, anything else before we let you go?
No, I think I just want to thank everyone. The Olympics were really incredible, and to not have family and friends and our community there in Japan was tough. And I really think that people stepped up and had lack of sleep and were just really engaged with the Olympics. And we came home with 9 medals as a team, and it was amazing. I mean, I was in the stands every single day cheering my heart out. And I just know that it was incredible to be a fan of wrestling over this Olympic time period. And I just want to thank everyone for committing and being engaged and involved and being excited for us. I mean, this is a lifelong dream of trying to win Olympic medals. And so for Team USA to come home with 9 of them is amazing. And I'm just so thankful to be a part of this program. And leading up into the World Championships, we're going to have, we have 8 of the 9 or 7 of the 9 Olympians right now. I guess 8 of the 9 medalists headed to the World Championships. And it's going to be an amazing time just to kind of be a USA fan. And so please follow me at Adeline Gray on all my social media accounts. And it should be pretty fun in Norway. So hopefully everyone's watching.
Yeah, get it together. Follow Adeline. Join. She's going to be wrestling next month in Oslo, Norway. Looking to add another world title to her incredible resume. Adeline, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you in Norway.
Thanks, you. Adeline. Yeah, I'm hoping for my 9th medal. Christy has 9, so if I can get 9, that'd be awesome.
9, holy cow. Let's get it. Thanks so much, Adeline. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Right. Hey, 9 medals. That's a lot of medals.
Your rapid fire questions that I didn't feel like it was appropriate. Why did she say Japan's 3rd team, not their 2nd team?
Well, she said we can beat their 3rd team. She's like, I'm not sure about their 2nd team.
Oh, okay. I was confused.
She's like, we can beat their 3rd. Hey, no. I think she was just kind of saying like, hey, their 1s, we're not ready. Their 3s, I think we can beat them, but the 2s, I don't know.
Got it.
Got
it. Okay.
Okay. So that was cool. Big week for women's wrestling. That's for darn sure. I don't know. I guess I didn't get to mention it yet, but Andy Hamilton's article, The Pulse, came out this morning with some huge news about a major D1 program. Looks like the Iowa Hawkeyes are looking to add a women's wrestling program. It's been speculated, it's been talked about, but it's getting. I think we're on the 1 yard line.
1 yard line.
1 yard line.
What? And so it's like first and goal, second and goal.
It's first and goal. We got 4 plays. We got the jumbo.
4 plays to jam it in.
Yeah. So nice. Exciting stuff there. All right.
We were talking. All right, gun your head. Your Iowa's AD. Who do you hire as the women's coach?
I think it's easy. I think it's the biggest no-brainer of all time.
Steiner.
Troy Steiner.
Oh,
alumnus.
Duh, you're right. That is such a no-brainer, huh, Christian?
Yeah. It'd be perfect.
It really is. It's just so obvious. There's no one else to hire.
It's like great dude, great coach. You have the connection with his brother who has, helped build this women's wrestling program in USA Wrestling. An alum. Check. It'll be no-brainer. So I think him, but I don't know. It's that's my read. All right, let's get to 61. We were talking Dayton, I think, or actually we were talking about Gwiz. Maybe do we want?
Yeah, we can go.
Let's go back to that. Let's put a bow on Gwiz because, and I think I said it already, but a period in, I was like, well, this is not happening for Mason. He was just not getting close. Gwiz was just picking him apart. I thought he just looked like a guy who took those 2 matches from RTC Cup. He's like, okay, he does this, and this. I'm a smart wrestler. I'm a good wrestler. And he made the adjustments, and it wasn't really close. And I'm not just – what I want to avoid is just say, okay, he figured out how to technically beat Mason. I thought he did do that, but also I thought he looked better than I had seen him. Even look at Olympic trials, even at RTC Cup, even the previous Worlds. I think Gwiz looked as good as I'd seen him in a long time.
Yeah, man, he looked really good. I mean, the one thing that because I'm still struggling with, because I love putting narratives in my head, is that at the RTC Cup he got to wrestle him twice. It wasn't just like a one-off where Mason got lucky. And sometimes the first time you wrestle someone, you're like, shoot, I didn't expect them to be that strong and fast. And like, next time I wrestle them, I really got to lock it down. I got to get in better position. Now I understand what's coming at me. But the next day he wrestled him. Mason still had relatively same success, right? He won the second match 10-7. And so for Gwiz to turn this around the way he did, and not like he won a nail biter, not like he got a lace. He kicked his butt twice. It was 6-0, 10-3, neither of which was highly competitive. I didn't see it coming. I got to eat a lot of crow to eat because I thought it was Mason Paris, and I don't even want to say I was kind of flippant about it, but I was kind of like, well, Mason beat him 10 months ago. He's younger. He's getting a lot better. We've seen the progress. It's going to be him. And Gwizdowski schooled him. It wasn't really close.
Yeah, completely agree with that. And one thing, as I was like, all right, so bad evaluation by us, except for the Russian asset, JD Raider. I was like, well, you know what? At that RTC Cup, not only did he wrestle Mason Paris twice, he also wrestled Gable Steveson. He's like, after who knows how long of a layoff he had and how much, people weren't in the flow of competition. So there's like a scenario, maybe you just overreact a little bit to a crazy weekend. That guy, he wrestled all but one match for the Wolfpack that time. So, maybe it's just something like that where, Gwiz was a little bit strapped and you got this young guy and whatever. But different dude now, and man, I feel great about him going into the World Championships. Now, can he go with a Gino or a Taha? Not historically. Zare is a real problem. He 10-0'd him, or DQ'd him, whatever. It was really bad against the Iranian. But, I still think
do we have the seeds for the Worlds, Christian? Are they up already somewhere?
They're out somewhere. I haven't seen them, but a lot of them were kind of crazy. Like Shelton Mack was seeded, and so was Nate Jackson. So
in the Worlds?
In the Worlds.
Because of how much you compete at the weight, yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Got it. Makes sense.
If you racked up a lot of points at your weight.
Oh, yeah, because there's no carryover points from different weight classes. I got it. Stupid.
True.
Okay. So is there Is there, and we know all those guys that you mentioned are going at heavyweight, like they're not retiring, Akul or Gino or anybody else, because they're getting older now. They're not super young.
Right. I haven't heard, and I just didn't put.
They'll be there. They were in the World Championship entries released that UWW did. So I guess that's not a guarantee, but it's probably.
So
got it.
That's heavyweight, and people are asking, what's our medal likelihood at the different weights? Heavyweight's going to be a tough one if Gino, Taha, and Zare are there. Even if Quiz is wrestling his best, those guys are just really, really good. Well, Gino and Taha are just amazing, and Zare is a very specifically difficult matchup for Quiz.
Well, so, and Zare's just good, too.
He's also good. He almost beat Gino.
He's also very good. Yeah.
He was right there to beat it, and Gino had to get super, super tough. Okay.
Yeah. So, and obviously, like, if they were the 1, 2, and 3 seed, those three, then obviously it makes it difficult. But if for some reason, they're not one of them is not seated because, for whatever, then maybe they end up on the same side and Gwiz gets a nice smooth path too. Because if he gets the right path, he can definitely get it done.
No question. And he has before.
Yes.
Okay, back to 61. Dayton Fix, mind-blowing performance. Once he 11-0'd Seth Gross, and we've got some of those clips there, you knew it was going to be just a long day, 2 days for the competition, and it was just that. I mean, he had Seth in the quarters. He had Graf in the semis, which is a little more competitive. He was competitive for sure, and I think you probably anticipated that. But that exchange was crazy.
Smooth right there. That one was really
if we can go back like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Seth did something really nice, and then Dayton dropped in underneath. Was super nice. Okay. Oh, right
so
here.
He looked for go behind.
Pause right here. Then this is where Seth lots of times hits his, we call it the sweep, but he goes arm and leg same side and hops over for the exposure. Obviously Dayton sprawled on it, so then Seth comes through, right, and then goes to his like Merkel-ish position. Ooh, nice. Where he really is successful. And then Dayton is able to drop back underneath again and go to like this right there, high crotch. Man, that was a slick sequence for both.
And that is if you freeze on that one position with that 2-on-1 and the near leg in, that is Gross's position all day. That is where he wants to wrestle. So Dayton was right in his wheelhouse and just popped under, high crotch, finish.
Yes.
He had it all going. He had it all. He looked strong. He looked fast. He was very physical. He looked offensive. The gut is always there, and it was there in full force. And I didn't even see him hit a trap arm. It was all just.
I don't think he got to his trap. Yeah,
he didn't need to. And obviously, a regular gut wrench is going to be just easier to get to from a timing perspective because he's like leg in, then you punch, and then you ball it up. Instead, he's just locking his hands and going. It was a fantastic performance, and man, you feel like he's a legit medal threat here at 61. Now Russia has an absolute monster. We're gonna be talking about a lot the next month. Abazkazi Magomedov, I think is his last name. Yes. He's freaking good. But listen, I want to see him versus Dayton. I want to see how Dayton can do against the rest of the field.
In one of his H-level world title, one of the H-level world championships. I forget exactly what year it was, but wrestled before and Dayton lost.
Yeah. So this a couple of the story. We I think all had Soriano making the finals, and when the seeds came out, we said this is a great draw for Soriano. Little did we know Nathan Tomasello. We kind of alluded NATO looked good at trials, but NATO all the way back, and really, Nick was he just wasn't able to generate offense really much throughout this tournament.
No. And Tomasello looked great. I look back. People, they call me crazy. I didn't see it coming. I don't think anyone did, except maybe the guys who were training with him. Because, he got his butt kicked by Spencer Lee, pretty bad. He got his butt kicked by Seth Gross, pretty bad. And I know these are pre-Corona. And then after Corona, he lost to Vito at the trials. And it was competitive, but then on the backside, he got a couple forfeits. And I don't recall who he beat for third, but it wasn't one of the really top competitors. No. And then to come out here and do what he did here, shut down Soriano, and then he killed Cologne. It wasn't even really competitive. Wow, I did not see that coming from NATO.
He said he's now healthy for the first time in like years.
Oh, really?
He had knee injuries and shoulder and a lot of different stuff going on there with NATO. But he looked fantastic. But, man, compared to Dayton Fix, he was a long way off.
Yes.
But the other story, another guy from freaking Oklahoma, Carter Young. This dude
Seriously.
beats Nashawn Garrett, Tyler Graff, and Seth Gross on the backside. His only loss was to Dayton. So very legitimately could have been the second best guy in the bracket. I would love to see him versus Tomasello. But Carter Young, winning those matches at his age, he credited his training the last couple months at Northwestern with Jimmy Kennedy and Chris Cannon, etc. And man,
he looked really impressive everywhere too. Top, bottom, on the offense, in the scrambles, basic defense. He can kind of wrestle everywhere. He was really impressive. If I remember this right, he grew up in the same club as Dayton, correct?
Yeah, he's from Sand Springs, I think originally, and then went to Stillwater High School, and is going to Northwestern. So yeah,
he's at Northwestern.
He's at Northwestern, yes. So he's been kind of with Dayton for a while.
Yeah, he was he was really really impressive. And so Northwestern has a good 25-33, so I'm assuming he's going to redshirt this year or what?
He said he didn't know. He it was kind of up. I interviewed him afterwards, and it wasn't a certainty what he was going to do or even what rate he would be, 33-41. I think he's at 33 right now, but I think you could see, given his age, I see him growing out of 33 at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what else it puts into focus is Jesse Mendez. This guy, Jesse Mendez, beat Carter Young pretty decisively, if I'm remembering correctly, at junior trials. And
so I looked back, it was 2-2, and they looked at there was a pin, and then it was 10-3 the second one.
Okay. So that really puts Jesse into focus as well.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see him start. I know he wants to wrestle some senior level stuff. And I think he would have competed at senior world team trials if he had the opportunity, but I think he couldn't get in.
Well, because
he wasn't qualified. So
now Jesse's only Jesse's only a junior. No, he's a senior now, right?
Or he's now a senior in high school.
Now a senior. Okay. Wow. Yeah. He's impressive.
So 61
also puts the world in perspective.
Puts the world, because he lost his only match, I think, at Junior Worlds. But still very young, promising career for Jesse Mendez. So that's 61. 65, Yanni, Joey McKenna. We knew it would be those two, and it was. And I think we all picked Yanni. But man, after he lost that first one, the way he lost it, I was like, how do you recover and get your mind right and focused? And Yanni was able to do so. But
dude,
the first
hold
match
on.
was
So
crazy.
when I watched it, that ending sequence, the first time I watched it, I said, "Oh, that's to McKenna," very clearly. The more I watch it, the more I think I might give Yanni 2 there. There is a couple seconds where he holds him on his back. And the first time I watched it, I totally did not think that. What do you guys think on that one?
I honestly thought it was Joey's.
Yeah. I mean, so then the other argument is if Yanni does, in fact, hold him, would you go 2, then 2, then 2? You know what I'm saying? Because then Joey recovers to that position, but Yanni also never leaves his back, so I don't think you can go 2, then 2, then 2. But obviously, if you're going to give essentially points to Yanni for holding him, then and Joey recovers the position, then it's, should you give something to him? Here's the sequence right here.
Let's show it.
Let's watch it in slow motion because it may be
right
more
here.
demonstrative.
Boom, right there. I don't know.
But see, there's a second there. There's another angle on it.
Yeah, but Joey's not exposed.
This is the angle. Yeah, he is. He absolutely is. Hold on. This is the angle that I watched. I didn't think anything of it. Right there. He's clearly on his back for a second. And that was the angle I watched. There's another angle.
But he put himself there with his head pinch.
He's doing a head pinch.
Damn it all. I understand that. And then Yanni holds him. I get it, guys. And he holds him. I said, there's another angle. Put the other angle up. You guys have another angle you've been posting on your Instagram.
I don't have another angle, man.
There's another angle that's on your Instagram. I've been watching it, and that's what made me think the other way.
Okay, let's go to the ground.
Now I'm all fired up.
I think.
Okay. Freeze it. Hold on. Go back. Okay, go back. We'll watch this in slow motion. But there is another angle you guys have been playing on Instagram. Okay, hold on. Play right here. So right here, okay, to up top, pause. Okay, so right here, obviously, Joey had done the front head pinch, exposed him. And for a slight second here, Joey is still exposed, and Yanni is giving resistance backwards with a bridge. And again, in this instance, it definitely does not look like Yanni gets anything. But when and that's how I thought when I watched it live. But when I watch it on your Instagram, I need to find the clip. I definitely thought for a second. You got we got the Instagram clip now. I thought, oh my gosh, Yanni actually did hold him on his back. We got the Instagram clip coming.
But Yanni didn't put him on his back. And I don't think he held him long enough.
You have to hold them. That's not the rules. The rules are hold them. If you hold them
he held him long
against their will, you get points.
I don't know.
What's long enough, JD? What's the rules?
Here's what I'll say. Here's a definitive time rule.
What's the rule say?
What I'm saying, if you do a gut wrench, sometimes you hang out there a little bit longer than you want, and then you come through. There's no points there either.
Here's what I would say.
Well, you can get points there.
You can, but I just don't think
it's less likely than for headlock. No, Christian, put your damn hand down.
Permission to speak.
An argument.
One thing.
You don't get to talk.
Before we show this, let me know when Joey actually stops moving and rotating through, because I didn't see that. He is constantly rotating through. Is he on his back for a period of time? But he's never like stuck there. He's always progressing towards bellying down.
You can tell that he's trying to get back to his belly for a second, and he definitely does not. So play this clip.
Go ahead.
I think I probably still go to McKenna, nothing for Yanni, but when Yanni got up and started arguing for 2, the first time I watched it, I was like, what the hell is Yanni talking about? It's very clearly to McKenna. And then I watched this clip, I'm like, I see what Yanni's point was. He definitely stopped the progress for a second.
Well, he doesn't stop the progress.
He definitely does.
No, he keeps moving. All right.
No.
On his back, moving, off his back.
Right there. Joey had to fight to get back to his belly.
Okay, so now it's if you have to fight. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, guys. I mean, yes. Listen, I'm telling you, Yanni is one of the best minds in the sport. And that's why when he got up and he said 2, I'm like, what the hell was he talking about? Because I watched him the other angle. When I watched the angle, I'm like, he did hold him. Now, I don't think he held him long enough to get the 2 points. I'm not awarding 2 points to Yanni, but I see what Yanni was talking about, and he definitely did.
Yeah, you see what Yanni's talking about?
Okay, listen. Here's what I'll say. If this starts to be, if they started to call it the way you're suggesting, maybe it should have been called. I think that'd be
never take a risk.
You're opening Pandora's, or you're also opening Pandora's box for anything to be called 2. So you have to recover in such an immaculate way that basically everything will be 2. Yeah, I mean, really, that's what you're
basically everything. No,
has to have perfect.
Listen, I said, I'm calling just 2 for McKenna, and that's it. The other thing is that in the initial angle, I thought, what the hell was Yanni whining about? Is obvious, and when I watched this angle, I'd say I see what his perspective is. I don't think he quite held him long enough, but it was very close.
Well, one thing we've learned for sure is Yanni is impossible to officiate. I mean, every single match she wrestles that's close revolves around us stopping and slowing and freeze framing and moving and this and that. And it's like, was it a crotch lift? Was it a this? Was it a that? Did he have the time? Did he have the takedown? It's like, it's always some super, super close nuanced sequence. And it ultimately didn't.
Because he's okay with putting himself in a lot of these scrambles and wrestling from unique positions. I mean, that's kind of where he lives, right? And that's why it's something we're not seeing a lot. And that's why when we see it, and the refs probably don't see those positions at all, also, or infrequently. So that's why they're having a struggle to ref those positions.
Yeah. One thing I think, to your point, Ben, is you would have to give McKenna an additional 2.
But then you would say Yanni didn't leave his back. So I don't even know if you could go. Maybe you'd go 1 because he gets control. I would have to talk to a ref if, like, I mean, let's say Yanni does very clearly hold them there like that, right? Say he does for another 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. It's obvious that Yanni's then holding him on his back. And then if McKenna recovers in the fashion that he does, Yanni has never left his back. So I don't think that you can give another exposure point, but maybe you'd give a point for getting on top. I don't know.
I was the first sequence was interesting because I thought it was obviously Joey's points, but then when they came back with 4, I was like super surprised. But then watching that again, I was like, oh yeah, Yanni was on his feet and got thrown to his back. That should be 4.
Yeah.
I remember being really surprised, but I think that was the right call.
That's a sequence where they don't always give 4 there, where I think it should be. I would go 4, but they don't always give 4. Sometimes they'll go 2 and they'll say, oh yeah, a knee hit on the way down or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Because I know I've been annoyed a few times at that sequence.
Yeah, I think it, after watching the replay, and I was initially surprised. I was like, what? And then I watched it again. I was like, yeah, I guess beat the back.
Yeah.
So Yanni, I think we're seeing a real evolution for Yanni in terms of the adjustments he's making. He's really improving in real time as we're watching him. I thought one of the most noticeable improvements were his development of his head hands is like really there. Like guys, he's not just letting guys in. He's not just counting on out scrambling dudes. I think he knows like that's not a sustainable path to a world championship. I think his parterre offense is just surging. He's getting guts. He's getting laces. He's so powerful for being like a scrambly guy that you try to put him in the scrambly box.
Those scrambly guys, they aren't powerful at all.
Well, Yanni's he's got a little power to him too, and some pop on his leg attacks.
Scrambly guys can have good guts too, because you don't need necessarily to have explosion. You need to have that like Python-like strength where you can just squeeze the shit out of them for a really long time.
Well, he has that. He has that going for him. So very impressive.
You love this sequence.
I love this sequence because I don't see anyone else really wrestle from it as well as he does.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, there is a match versus Roger Kish where I do this one, and I don't want to say whether or not Yanni stole it from me, but he may.
You just say everyone steals your moves. You
go watch it. Go watch it. It's 2007, maybe 6.
There's no way to know which one happened first. That's the crazy thing about it.
I think it's on YouTube. It should be on FloWrestling, but I believe it's on YouTube. So, dude, he showed us this sequence when he came into the camp here. It's really great. And the way he pressures back into him, so it takes away the attack of his ankles is great. The way he transitions into his leg lace on it sometimes is great. I'm all in favor of this sequence.
Yeah, it's a unique finish for sure, and is a position he's really good at getting to consistently. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, he's so powerful underneath because he's so flexible. You literally, if he gets underneath you, like he's coming up you're not stopping him. He is going to come up there every time.
Yeah, and it's like he brings you so far back, like you can't like get ankles or even hold on to anything. You're just kind of like your hands are extended out. It's impressive. He looks.
I'll send you the link, Christian.
Okay.
You know, I've
seen that match.
I should learn how to timestamp it for you, so that way you can just go right to it. I don't know how do you
Ben how to timestamp. All you do is right click on the screen and hit copy URL at current time.
Freaking Apple. How do you?
Yeah, or just double the double click on the.
No,
come on,
no.
You know what?
I just did it. I just got it.
See,
it's right here.
Genius Ben.
Yeah, I knew.
He figured it out.
No, I mean I got the move. I got the move. I don't got the time stamping.
Oh, okay.
Of the move, of said move. All right, I'll figure it out, guys. We can continue. I'm an idiot.
I have zero faith in you.
Yep, no one believes. Okay,
right click. There's no right click. I just have this. Look, I wish I could show you my.
Just take these 2 fingers, your 2 middle fingers, and click them down on your mouse.
Oh, 2 fingers. Oh, you just told me. You should have just said 2 fingers. Don't right click. Use 2 fingers. That's
okay.
Easy. You should have said that.
Yeah. Well, I did say it.
All right, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna say
all right. Technology Ben. He's coming at us.
Video URL. Copy video URL. This is so genius. Holy moly. How did I never know how to do this? Whoa. Technology.
It's fun to watch this in real time.
This is great.
I'm putting it in the doc right now. I'm top of the doc, and you guys can see I may have done this in 2007. You know, I'm not as yeah, all right. See, you got it right there, Christian.
I'm watching right now. All right, national duels. Single
we can pull it up on the screen for the world to watch.
I don't, man. It's a little different.
My hands are locked. I rotate. I pull him down. He just does it. So Yanni, hold on. Yanni needs to go backwards because you can pause it. I'll explain.
Yeah.
A lot of times people maintain control of his ankles. Roger Kiss at this point was not schooled enough on the far ankle position to maintain control of the ankles. So I didn't need the pressure backwards, right? I just need to drop him down on his side.
Got it. All right, we can show the people.
Boom, show the people.
All right.
Boom, here we go.
Beautiful single leg.
Right there. Lock the hands, rotate down, easy.
Easy money.
Here, whoop, roped it up. Right there. If he holds the ankles, you can't go down, because if you go down and he has your ankle, then he's going to knock you off to the side because he's going to off balance you. If they let go your ankles, then you just got to drop them down on their hip and you have 2 points. It's no problem.
So where did Yanni teach you that? Is that at a camp or?
Yanni taught it to me in, 2004. He would have been right around, 3 years old at that point in time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He's ahead of his time.
Very ahead of his time.
It is funny we're seeing Yanni finally made a world team, and
yeah,
he is quite young still.
Super young.
How old is Yanni? 21?
2, I think.
22?
Yeah.
It does seem like it's been a long time coming.
Well, in 2019, when he was so close, he's 22.
He was so close.
Yes.
He was so close in 2019. And then we obviously thought he was probably going to get it in 2020, and that didn't happen. And now, he looked great kind of the whole time through. Obviously, that bracket was kind of dull compared to most of the rest of the brackets. Were really fun. Like 61 was freaking awesome. 79 was awesome. 65 was dull. I don't even have a good explanation for why.
Well, I still, it's obviously hindsight with everything, but I'm surprised that Jordan didn't stay down. And I know nobody wants to cut weight.
Yes,
but you got on the team. You finally won that World Team Trials spot or the Olympic Trials spot. You're the number one, and think about this too, Ben. So 65, if Jordan was in it, Yanni and Joey are the 2 and 3. So they hit in the semis. One match. And we saw who won the one match. I know it's a completely different scenario, but that's still what happened. Right. And and I think we all know for Jordan, the matchup against McKenna is much better than the matchup against Yanni. So, I think he's probably on the team again. And instead, let's just move on to 70 kilograms because we had that crazy quarterfinal between Zane and Jo. And
can we just? One more thing about that, because you're right here. And I guess the other thing I think about when you say this is for Zane and Jo. When you look at the bracket and the depth of the bracket, and you look at 65 and you look at 70, you're right. I don't know why they both moved up.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a little surprising, and the depth of the bracket, and also when Jo beat Zane, I immediately was like, all right, James is going to make the team because he matches up great against Jordan and has historically. It's just the style matchup is better, whereas maybe Zane matches up better against James, but maybe not. I mean, James looked. This is the other thing. What was the stat from Kozak? I mean, this guy at 70 kilograms, insane. It's insane. I'll pull up the stat really quick here.
Pull up that tweet. Yeah, he's. I think he has like 100 wins and 13 losses at 70 kg. And if you look at his not 70 kg, he's like 14 and 14 or something. So, and he's really weird in the sense, Christian, that obviously he can't go down. He's too big for the 65. But he also struggles going up. For whatever reason, he doesn't do that well going up. Whereas other guys have had reasonable amount. You think about, obviously Kyle Dake's really good, but James Green's a world medalist, so it's an equivalent. Kyle Dake had tons of success going up 26 pounds, whereas James doesn't have that much success going up 9 pounds from 70 to 74. He hasn't had the success at that weight either.
Yeah, no, he's a different guy. So the record at 70, 103 and 18. Record outside of 70, 14 and 14.
That's crazy. How crazy is that?
I mean, that's just
mind blowing.
James Green, Dayton Fix, and Jordan Burroughs show the importance of weight classes and 10 weights and just like the different levels and types of performances you can get if you're not at the right weight class. And I think, we're kind of going back to 61 for a second, but man, I think if Dayton goes back down to 57, it's not the right choice. I think he never looked better. And
what would you do?
He has to for Olympics.
61's not an Olympic weight.
I don't know. Get big. Get bigger.
Really should say it's 61. I mean, 61.
You should say it's 61, but I think he needs to go back down to 57 for Paris.
Yeah. Maybe he can do it. Maybe he can do it 2-day weigh-in, 2-hour weigh-in. Maybe, but I know.
Yeah.
I think
he does get bigger. I mean, honestly, getting bigger might be better.
Yeah. Look, he was the biggest 61 I saw this weekend. I thought he dwarfed Seth. I thought he just looked bigger, thicker, stronger than NATO. He's short.
Joe always looks big to me.
Cologne looked big, and they didn't hit, so I'm not sure. But I thought he just looked so big. He just looked so full and powerful. And what I would be more interested to, or here's what I would think. Maybe you see some of this. Okay, you're not undecided what you're going to do in Olympic years. What happens if you just throw your hat in the ring at 65? I mean, do you think Yanni beats the brakes off of Dayton Fix at 65? No. I don't. Do you think Joey McKenna is head and shoulders ahead of Dayton Fix at 65? No freaking way.
Especially if he has 3 years to get bigger. I mean, we're in 2021 right now. That's 2024. You know, if he optimizes himself for 61 for the next, so maybe he makes team 21, 22, 23. And then he spends the last year getting bigger. I mean, almost maybe to the point where in 2023, he's kind of having to suck down for 61. I think that's well within the realm of possibility that he gets big enough to be a solid 65 for sure.
Yeah. And I think the different performances we've seen from Dayton at 57 would, you know, not that he's never been, I mean, he made the Olympic trials semis, you know, he's a college sophomore, right? And he's been on the team as a freshman. But I just think at some point the weight is just, it's too much of an obstacle. It's not about the wrestling. It's about how big your body is. And I think perfectly 61 is like the perfect weight for him. But who knows? Who knows what he'll decide? But I do want to mention that I really think 61 and 65 should be in consideration. I think he'd compete with those guys.
Very few adult human males are suited for 57 kilograms.
Adult human males?
What about adult human orangutans?
They are suited for 57 kilograms. Yeah, they're slightly smaller.
They are smaller.
Okay. That's funny.
All right. Well,
hey, you know what discussion?
No.
Okay, hold on. Can I get? Okay, listen. If I'm totally ADHD, just tell me to shut up. Okay, Christian.
Okay.
But I'm going on Lex Fridman next week, and Lex Fridman and John Denher. I could not recommend listening to their podcast the most. But you know, I
started it. I got like 10 minutes in.
Oh,
so far so good.
Keep going. It's so awesome. I made a few kids on my club listen to it. They're talking about creating an AI robot that did jiu-jitsu. So I was thinking about
this. Yeah, we talked about that one.
On air?
Yes.
With the homies.
Oh, hell. I'm so excited about it. I want to talk about it so bad. I've been talking to everyone about this. I was talking about last night at practice. I want to create an AI wrestling robot. It'll be fascinating.
Has Triller offered you a wrestling match against a robot yet?
I would totally wrestle a robot.
Okay. All right. Well, I would like to see that. Okay, so 70, James Green, I mean, the closing sequence of his first match, after it looks like, I guess he's not going to hit this, but I think we have that clip. Let's just watch this last 30 seconds. 6'2", Deacon looks to have it in hand, and then boom, single leg, and Deacon turns down there, which was, we talked about it at the time, really smart, because you get caught in that front side lace position, you end up giving up more points. But then, a couple level changes, he ends up on this single leg and just drives right through him. It's like no drama.
Man, did Deacon gas there, or you know, like?
I mean, he was in gas, but clearly there was some like fatigue that goes into that.
Yeah,
there was not much fight.
Because that's the match right there, and you just let someone drive through you. I mean, you could try to turn and go splits. You could try to pop up to go quad. There's a few other, without getting too deep into the scrambles, there's a few other relatively basic things you can do to do your best to not give up a takedown once you've already given the corner there.
I really liked how, if we can show the second takedown again, like how did he go from like extended and immediately got in like perfect position?
Sorry, I'll pull it back. Okay.
It's like right here, not great.
Right here.
And then
that's where, we were just working that Sunday in wrestling, how you drop your shoulder in there.
Yeah.
But man, that's like, once you feel that from Deacon, once he drops that shoulder and you've given up the corner, so I'm saying there's, you can go quad pretty easy. You could maybe slide the splits. You could possibly, he was on the knee, so shin was going to be difficult, but maybe you could try to clear off the knee or step the other foot up. I was just like, wow, like he must have been super gassed because there's a few other things he can go to without without even scrambling that much. It's kind of basic defensive tactics where, he's only got to waste, 10 seconds there to the end of the match?
It looked like he wanted to go shin whizzer, and he got immediately beat on it and then couldn't.
Yeah.
Didn't have like a plan B.
Once they capture your knee, you can't shin whizzer that because the shoulder's in, the knee's captured. Shin whizzer is going to be so weak at that point.
Yeah. So Green runs that one down at the end. And then the second match was a little more one-sided for James. He looked really good. He looks like a guy that's going to go and potentially come back with his third medal at the World Championships, his sixth team, which is pretty insane. He's almost held down this weight every single year. Just the first year of 70.
That's why it's so crazy that he's freaking 14-14 out of this weight class, because he's so good. 6 teams in a row. I mean, guys, do you realize how few guys have made that many teams in American history? The number is small.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we're spoiled because we have so many of them right now with Jordan Burroughs and Snyder. I think we're kind of spoiled, but historically speaking, guys that have made 6 teams, like in my era, Cormier made 6. I can't think of anyone else who came. That's
what I was gonna say.
That's it.
If he wrestled like 2005 through 2011, he'd be like an absolute legend. Around in that era, we were not having guys.
Oh, James Green, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Cormier made the team 2003 through 2008. Say in that 2000 to 2012 window, so 3 cycles. Who else made 6 teams? I think the answer is nobody.
No, I don't think anyone made 6 teams in that time.
I don't think anybody. I mean, that was so rare, and now we're in this situation where we're kind of lucky, where we're having quite a few guys do it. But man, it's super rare. James is in rarefied air for American wrestling.
Yes, no question, and looking forward to see what he can do. He seemed extremely prepared for this, and man, it's one of those. I feel stupid a lot in my life, but I felt really stupid for not picking him to win this weight. It's like it's his weight.
It was okay. Oh, hey, can we talk about something that really annoyed me? I was gonna say, because he kind of, I was thinking about his path when you brought that up. The end of the period point for James Green in this Jordan Oliver match. That's a bullcrap call. That is so dumb. So dumb.
I don't remember it.
Where he kneels on the back of his leg. You remember what I'm talking about?
Oh, that was a bad call.
Dude, the leg bends that way. Why can't you push on the leg there? The leg bend, the knee literally bends direction. I don't understand why that is an illegal technique. And so honestly, without that call, and maybe the takedown would have been after the period, but if that does go 5-2 instead of 6-0, maybe that match is more, maybe James wrestles differently. But that call annoyed the crap out of me. I have no idea why it was illegal. Do you guys know why it was illegal?
No, I mean the I don't.
Yeah, right here, he kneels right there, and that might be a takedown. Honestly,
yeah, I mean this
is valid technique. Is it because maybe it's right after the buzzer? No, it looks like there's 1 second off. You kneel on the back. Their knee bends that way. It's not like you're pushing it, the arm in a direction in which it doesn't bend. The knee bends forward.
Yeah,
so I don't understand why that was illegal.
So look, he works on the left side, tries to cut in front, and then cuts in.
Well, he did it once.
And he did. Maybe they did it twice, but
who cares if you can do it once? Why can't you do it twice?
Well, I don't know.
It does look like the knee hits there. Yeah. I
thought you were okay I always thought you were okay to put pressure on the back of the knee. Are they saying you can't come all the way back? It's almost like a crossface.
Done with malicious intent.
Yeah.
Thing.
But who cares? I mean, that's like you can jam your shoulder in the back of their knee. I mean, that's literally what you would want to do there. If you say you slide down and drive to a lace, you'd be jamming your shoulder into the back of their knee. I don't see the issue at all.
Yeah, well, just like with anything, if you're doing it, if you do a club, there's clubs you can do, and then there's clubs you can't do, and we know what those 2 different clubs look like.
Okay, but that's because it could cause concussive forces. There's no concussion of the knee.
Well, if you hit anything on the human body hard enough, you can injure it.
Okay, I mean we're talking about, but the knee bends. That's right. I think if I get hit with a baseball bat in the back of my knee, I might have a bruise the next day, but I'm fine. It freaking bends that way, Christian.
Okay. as long as it bends that way, baseball bats are now in the mix.
I mean, I kind of agree with you that I didn't think it should be legal, but James Green literally took and had trainers come out and look at his knee because he was hurt after it.
Did the trainers not inform James that his knee bends that way and therefore there's no injury policy? Like, I'm with you, Ben. I don't think that should be a point, but at the same time, I think what you're advocating
there's definitely
for,
a line.
Yeah.
What do you mean there's a line? Of what? Forcibly bending a joint in the direction that it bends? There should not be. If I could generate maximum force to bend a joint the way the joint bends, I should be able to do so.
Should you be able to punch the back of the knee since it bends that way?
Hell yeah.
Now you're just like completely.
Why can't I? If I can put my knee on the back of a freaking, if I can put my knee on the back of a knee, why can't I? If I for some reason I can say
he didn't put it there.
Freeze there for a second. I'm gonna punch you in the back of the knee.
He didn't put it there and then apply pressure.
When I am in Austin next week, you can punch me in the back of the knee. I will not be injured. That is wimpy stuff. I was gonna say something even more vulgar than that.
You've already said that word.
You can punch me in my knee.
Wow. All right, I'm gonna do it.
You can punch me.
I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't need your permission.
I will get in a quad pod on that desk when I'm in Austin next week. You can punch me in the back of the knee. That ain't gonna hurt. You're a wimp.
Hey, now I'm gonna hit you hard. I'm gonna start training for real.
It's not gonna hurt. That's fine. Hit me as hard as you want. My knee bends that direction.
All right, after you beat the robot, you and me on Triller. Enough's enough.
But seriously, okay, that's not good.
You're the only person that I can agree with yet disagree with about the exact same thing simultaneously. But here we are. I don't think that should have been a point. Yet I don't think because, anyways, I don't want to re-cue you back up, and then we'll just do the argument again.
Okay, so also at the end of I was shocked, and I was shocked and disappointed. Zane Rutherford lost 2-2 to Jordan Oliver, and that last push out, it's like maybe because this was a strategy of mine. I was a volume shooter, but I was not a good volume shooter, and so lots of times I would just be like a bulldozer and get underneath someone and try to drive them straight out of bounds. Mm-hmm. And the only way you can stop me is you got to circle me. You cannot. I will overpower you because if I'm underneath you and you're front like me, I will drive you like a bulldozer out of bounds, which is literally what Jordan Oliver did to Zane Rutherford. Can we cue that up by any chance?
Simple machine.
Because why didn't he just all you gotta do is circle there. You circle there, and then they can't drive you out of bounds. I don't know why he didn't do that. That was like, oh my gosh, what the heck's going on here?
All right, let's watch it.
We gotta remind you.
We gotta go back before.
A couple more seconds. Yeah, like 10 more seconds. Oh no, there was an injury break. You're right here.
Yeah, let's play it from here.
It'll come.
So this is a Jo Zane closing sequence. It's 2-1 Rutherford with 30 seconds to go. All ones in this match, so a 1 for Jordan will put him in the lead. 25 seconds to go now.
Yeah, I also didn't think Zane was aggressive enough in the second period. Right here. Okay. You got to circle so hard. You can't just dig in. See how he's trying to just dig in. Now at the end, he tries to circle off because he realizes it, but he should have started circling much earlier. He gets driven quite a bit before he decides to bail.
Yeah. So 9 seconds. Did they not initially go 1 there?
I don't know. I think they accidentally put the wrong hand up. He accidentally puts the blue hand up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't really know why.
Yeah, he's under him. And gets the knee to hit.
And Zane bailed. Zane should have bailed off to either. So either you pull your front headlock in a circle or you bail to that seatbelt position. But do it in the center, not once you get into the zone.
I'll say these World Team trials were pretty much stupendously officiated. There's like very few.
Yeah.
I mean that the back of the knee thing is one thing, but very well officiated trials. Let's go to
you know what?
What?
One random thing that didn't. No, I will agree with you. Don't think I had any real officiating issues. The Jordan Burroughs Nolf match. Nolf gets warned like 1 second in for hands to the face.
Yeah,
like literally 1 second. First second, he puts a hand up and they warn him. And then Jordan Burroughs spent the majority of the match with his hand in Jason's face, and he didn't get warned at all. It was hilarious.
There was one time where Jordan just had his hands on. It was either Ringer or Nolf's eyes. He just kind of held it there.
Yeah. But it's like Nolf gets warned in 1 second, and then Burroughs does the whole time and nothing. It was hilarious.
Yeah. So that was crazy. Jaden back on the team. He there wasn't a ton of discussion about this weight just because Jaden was in it, basically. And you're like, well, who's going to stop him?
I know what my discussion would be on this weight class.
What?
Trent Hidley. Jeez Louise.
He can freestyle.
He's good.
He's really good. He's really good.
Yes.
What matches from Trent stood out to you the most?
I didn't expect him to be that close with Colin Moore, and he was. I mean, Colin Moore was. I don't want to say beat, but he was down big and had to come back with 2 late scores to win that match. I mean, and then he comes back on the backside. Who did he beat on the backside? It was someone good.
Beat Foster for third.
He beats Foster and Miles Martin both.
Yeah. That was a very, very good win. Miles beat Kyvan to set up the Jaden match. But yeah, it was all Jaden. He looked super good. We had a clip. He had one of these go behinds. Reattacks. Watch this here. Whoop, just disappears on.
What is that?
So pretty. He is smooth.
So smooth.
Jaden does this weird thing where it's just like 1-0 after 1, like almost every time, and then puts up 5-6 points in the second period, and how hard he is to score on is really unbelievable.
Really is.
And our team is so good
at the footwork.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, want to get to some questions here?
Yeah, it's after 9:30.
Get to some questions. First question. Start with. I think we have the clip.
Yeah, have we not had any video submissions? Don't they know they can do video submissions?
Hey, people are bashful.
There's been 1 or 2.
There's been a couple. Nothing big.
Okay,
Dang.
So from Andy Swalinski, sorry, Andy. Right after JB double ringered for 4, you said the Jinxes weren't real, and then Dieringer immediately dumped it to his back for 4. Was this rock solid proof that Jinxes are in fact real? I think we have this. Do we have this?
Yes,
clip?
we do.
All right, play this clip. And then let me. Yeah, go ahead.
Explain yourself.
I mean, you could run the numbers. Has he ever lost up 4? I don't know.
Why do you want to do that to the man? Why do you want to say all that?
Come on, man. Come on, man. Jinxes are fake. Do you sleep with a blankie too? Come on, Mike.
Just saying. I keep my
sweep single. He got it. There's 4. And Jordan's on his back. Oh my goodness. Feet to back.
Okay. So listen, people act like that. Listen, that was hilarious timing for one. But he won the match. No Jinxes are not real. You superstitious weirdos.
I don't know. I think I might have jinxed Jakara in match 1 with Jenna because she got a step out with 6 or 7 seconds left. And as they're walking back to center, I said that probably puts the icing on the cake. And then she was thrown to her back for 4 and lost.
I mean, who would have thought that was possible? Do we have the Jakara Jenna clip? Because that was, I mean, I just can't believe that she was able to get this 4 here. Underhook on that right side for Jenna. And then
just tips in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There's like 1 second.
Yes.
Yeah. They were running it like frame by frame just to make sure that she got it, but she clearly got the 4 in time. I was just surprised to see. So Jakara here, if you go back just a second, I think the pivotal mistake here was when Jakara, she gets into the zone, it's like she really didn't want to give up the step out. So she stands up right here, like she's worried about a step out, and then ends up getting launched to her back when.
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy, Andy. I mean, all 3 buzzer beaters in that one. First Jenna, then Jakara beats the buzzer, and then Jenna beats the buzzer.
That might have been the most fun series.
Oh yeah,
finals.
It was insane.
In that Burroughs sequence, I think again underrated Burroughs things. Like Dieringer is great at doing a trap arm off that sequence. Do you notice how Burroughs, while on his back, still has the brains to use his other free arm to free his trapped arm?
Yeah.
So
show that
if you
again.
watch like
minus my
when he gets dumped, and then we can pause it after he gets dumped to his back. And the Jinxes are definitely real, Christian.
Oh my gosh, you if you believe in Jinxes,
I'm on your side right here. But like, watch, as soon as he gets dumped, he's starting to use his free arm right now, his right arm. And because if he turns over to his belly right now, Dieringer's going to use the trap right off the pinch. So as soon as he comes back here, he starts using this hand right to attack. He's using his forearm and he's blocking right there, so he doesn't give up the trap when he gets back to his belly.
Well, That's impressive, but him not getting pinned there is really impressive too, because you have that arm trap, his chest is on you. That's Deringer's position, and he's able to fight off his belly. And then that was the main offense that Ringer had in both matches. It was that big four, and he felt it, and he could never really get back to it. It was a really solid hand fighting performance by Jordan, because Deringer is the best hand fighter that he faced over at the tournament, and he was able to really avoid, other than that one position, he was able to really mitigate a lot of what Deringer does so well.
Yes, agreed. I don't think Deringer's a great matchup for Burroughs. Like, I think the match will always favor Burroughs.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I mean, obviously we're talking at a really, really high level, because I think Jordan Burroughs is going to win a world title, but Deringer's movement it needs to improve a little bit if he's going to beat Burroughs.
Yes. Okay. It was glorious to see JB's double again. Do we think it's more of him feeling himself at a better weight, or was it just a tourney of guys who've never felt him before? Will we see them in Oslo? I think he feels better, personally.
I think it was a combination. He talked about it in his post-match interview, how his style specifically, it's important to get a feel for him, which I thought was interesting, that he has a lot of success with guys first round, and then they make adjustments. I mean, that's the case for anybody, but it was interesting to hear Jordan say that about his opponents.
The thing is...
Okay, wait, hold on. Let's look at that logistically speaking. Okay, since he beats almost everyone, he will likely beat them the first time he wrestles them. Who has he beat and then has come back to beat him? So if we think of Chamizo, he beat Chamizo the first time. Chamizo beat him, but then he's been a bunch over him. Chamizo. But Dake was like not the first time. He beat Dake what, 7, 8 in a row? A lot.
Yes,
so
7 out of 8
would be the other person.
Godoyev, Chamizo, Dake all lost to Burroughs multiple
David.
And David, I guess. Yeah, David.
But it's I
sort of a different,
throw that out. It's a different weight class, different size.
Yes, for sure. So to me, I don't even know if it's that. I think, because you think the last couple world championships and international tournaments he's entered, against the first time he's faced guys, he wasn't firing off doubles like that, like he was against Ringer. It was there first. And also, let's not pretend that this is the first time Deringer and Burroughs have wrestled. They've wrestled a lot of time.
Yes.
They've trained together frequently. So, just because it's their first competition match. I mean.
It's almost weird they've never competed against each other, because Deringer was relatively high at 74 for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, but Burroughs was sat out during that time. So unless you got by Dake and Neymar, you're not going to get in there. Okay, next question. What am I? Oh, will the 2024 trials be only Spartan Combat and NLWC? They covered all Olympic weights. And I want to hear your thoughts.
Me? No, I mean the other team that's super impressive right now, and maybe because a lot of the competitors are international, Cliff Keen's really good too. Cliff Keen is really good. I mean, they have Paris and Deringer were probably their best competitors at this trials, but then obviously you got Micic, you got Amin. You have Pantelio is really good. He was not top couple. But yes, I think I can tell you a couple of different college coaches have called me in the last month because Brian Smith is so against the RTC system, and they want to know what he's thinking exactly. But the RTC is going to be, I think, shimmied down to less and less people the longer it goes on, because it's so hard to keep up with those few people who have a ton of money. When those couple people, and probably the ones that have the four most amounts of money right now, Minnesota has a good team. Cliff Keen, Spartan, and Nittany Lion all have lots of money and lots of really good competitors. I guess let's throw in who am I forgetting? Christian.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't.
UPenn.
So what's the point that some teams have more senior level athletes? That's unfair. I don't understand.
Well, no, it's not. I'm not even debating a fairness perspective. I'm just saying for a lot of colleges to spend their time and effort to try to keep up for the senior level program is just not worth it for them, right? So they're going to focus on their college team and fundraising for that, and not focus on the RTC.
Mm. Well, yeah, I for sure, but that's just going to leave them further behind.
Well, I mean, Missouri's doing a fine job without spending too much time or effort on a senior level on the RTC portion of it.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, so Keegan O'Toole, what's he gonna do when he graduates?
I mean, if there's a scenario where he can stay, he'll stay, and if not, he'll go somewhere else.
Why would there be? It sounds like there was not going to be scenarios where the best guys can stay, and even if he can,
most likely not. I would say.
I think that's going to be problematic for the program. I mean, to your point, yeah, Missouri.
But how do you keep up with Penn State when they have $5 million?
I don't know. I don't ask. How's Penn doing it? I mean, the Hawkeye Wrestling Club, I think, is probably going to have a pretty good team. Sunkist, I don't know.
Sunkist not real. I mean, yeah,
They're
going to be. It's going to be more and more centralized, I believe, meaning less and less programs with good RTCs, because it's hard to fundraise. It takes a lot of time, and when you're trying to compete with these other ones that have these huge amount of funds, it's going to be very difficult. So yes, I think it will be centralized. I don't think it'll be 2. I think it'll be like between 5 and 8.
What does centralized mean?
Meaning there's not as many. Meaning you're not going to see 20 really good RTCs. You're going to see between 5 and 8 really, really high level RTCs, and there's not going to be a lot of.
How is that different from what we're seeing right now? 5 to 8 really good RTCs sounds like sort of what it's been.
Yeah, I guess I would say we're winnowing down to that. But I think if you go 5 years back, you're going to see a few more people. Like Ohio State, for example, seems to not be putting a ton of effort into it. Oklahoma State, same. Iowa's not any good right now. So I think, and if you go 5 years back, I think you're not seeing that.
I don't know. I think, I don't know, because Ohio RTC was like the gold standard RTC. Now that
for a while,
that's not the case now, but now you've got a place like Penn, the Pennsylvania RTC, which is, so there's there's a balance as well.
So
I don't know. I feel like I think the RTC model is good for wrestling. I think it's good I think the effects of it are being felt around
correct
for us, and I think minimizing that, going away from it, would be a mistake.
Sorry, I'm not. I don't want to minimize or go away from it. I don't want to make that that's not my point here. My point is that I think more and more college coaches will just say, like, I can't keep up, and I'm going to focus on my college team and fundraising for that. And for Brian Smith, obviously, it's making sure the endowment's solid, and that's what they're going to focus on. And there'll be less and less really successful RTCs.
Yeah, and that could be
when the RTC model came, when did the RTC model come into play? We're talking less than 10 years ago, correct?
I thought it was
10.
Yeah, I would have said around then, like after 2008. I feel like 9, 10, 11 is when it started to.
So we'll say 10ish years ago. When it started, everyone's like, we need to get an RTC really quick,
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone is attempting to do this, and some of these people are, especially if for some reason if they have a really large donor with an open pocketbook, they're having tons of success. And so, Nittany Lion, if someone's really good, well, let's talk about Keegan O'Toole. Okay. Keegan O'Toole is likely, I think, going to be a very high-level, senior-level competitor. And so Nittany Lion is paying these guys really solid salaries. And so is Mizzou going to, if they have Keegan O'Toole, Rocky Elam is obviously having success, and so are they going to be able to offer them all $60,000 a year? And the answer to that is they're not. Right? They're just not going to be able to. So one or two of them is going to have to go find a salary somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No.
Which is good. It's great for wrestling because we're keeping more people around. It's really good for wrestling.
Yes, I agree with. What does the next 2 weeks look like for Team USA? Will they be doing any acclimation? So I think they're probably having more of a low-key week at home, recovering, and then I know they go to camp like the 22nd or 23rd, and then they leave for Oslo like the 25th-ish, something like that. So the acclimation is not as long as Tokyo, and it's not as long as necessary since it's not as big of a change for the time difference with the different time zone in Norway.
Hey, this Jeff Baxter guy, he's a moron in the chat.
Wow.
Iowa does not have a good RTC right now. They literally did not have any competitors at the World Team Trials. I'm not wrong here.
Yes.
They had one competitor at the Olympic Trials who did not do well. They are not a good RTC right now. Now, they may be in a year or two when all the seniors graduate, but currently they're not.
Yeah. There's no – it's a little – okay, yeah, you can say that, but at the same time, we all know that they have the horses there. They're just not There's not entering the
tournament.
tournament.
They had 0 competitors at the 2021 trials.
I know.
They had 1 competitor at the 2021 Olympic trials. 2019 they not that many either. How many did they have then?
I'm not sure. Not many.
Very few.
Yeah. So, well, I guess Gilman was definitely, he was still in Iowa at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you can look at right now. If you snap a picture of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club results since trials, Olympic trials and World trials. Yeah, but I think big picture, they've been a pretty strong presence throughout the last quad, and then I think we all know what's going to be happening in the next year or so.
Yeah, it's likely that they'll be back. With the strong presence. I mean, I guess who's it gonna be? It's gonna be Spencer Lee and Ironman. Do you think DeSanto is gonna compete?
I mean,
Kemmer. The dude doesn't really wrestle freestyle.
DeSanto has not wrestled a lot of freestyle. Kemmer is
he
not.
He did do U23s this year.
Yeah, I think DeSanto. If he does, all right. Here's the question I ask: if he doesn't continue wrestling, what is he going to do? You gonna coach? I don't think he's ready.
I heard he builds computers. Maybe he's gonna mine Bitcoin.
Maybe he's gonna mine Bitcoin and build computers. I mean, all bets are off. There's no way to know for sure. But yeah, I see him staying at Iowa and training and trying to make senior world teams at 61. And I don't know what'll happen in Olympic years, but probably not. He's got some steps to go before you start thinking Olympic level.
Yes,
I think.
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah, I'm sure Cassiope, someone we'll see in the mix at freestyle, though I think with Mason and Kirk Fleet characters around, it's going to be tough for him to make a team. But he beat Don Bradley, I'm pretty sure. Don Bradley's a seasoned senior level guy. I hope I didn't just make up that result, but I'm pretty sure that happened.
I feel like you're right, but I can't cite where it happened.
Someone fact check me, and if I'm wrong, I never said it anyways. It was. So I think
5-1 at senior nationals.
Okay, I'm an idiot. I think Patrick Kennedy's a young guy, but he's wrestled some freestyle a little bit. Kimmer's good. He hasn't wrestled much freestyle, but we all know he's a good wrestler. Jacob Warner's made junior world teams. They've got some freestylers there, and as we all know, it's a matter of time before Spencer Lee enters the senior level competition, and that's something a lot of people are really excited about.
You think he'll place?
Place? What do you mean?
He'll place at the senior level competitions?
I think he'll probably place. There's a good chance, Keep an eye on this young buck. He's got some promise. Hey, 9:47. We can get to a little bit more. We didn't talk about the thing I thought we were gonna be able to talk about Thursday. We weren't able to talk about it till later. Gable. WWE.
Oh, how did we forget? It's been such a long weekend with the trials.
It was the classic news dump. They news dumped us. That we thought it was going to be on Wednesday evening, and it ended up being on Thursday. So I had alluded to we would have this big news to talk about on Thursday, but then we didn't get to because it didn't happen until later on Thursday. But the big news came out: Gable Steveson staying at Minnesota, wrestling for Minnesota this year, signed a contract for WWE. Your guy, Front Row Brian, saying it's like the biggest NIL deal so far in collegiate sports.
He ain't wrong, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he's wrong either. So big money for Gable. I think he's probably going to sign with an apparel company soon as well, making more money there.
Hold on. So is he able to? The WWE really controls sponsorship opportunities for their athletes. Is he able to, or will it be some type of deal that the WWE controls?
I don't think WWE is like that worried about like the apparel thing. I don't know. Okay. All I know is I'm told Gable is going to be signing with an apparel company.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So I think that's going to happen. And, I think we always knew he kind of wanted to come back. I had been saying since Olympic trials, I think he's coming back. And he is. I think it's great. He's going to be making on-screen appearances. He doesn't know exactly what it entails, but this will be his last year.
So is he going to not go all the way in and for a while into WWE, or you just have no idea? Has he put out any information on, I'm wrestling a full Minnesota schedule, or I'm going to wrestle, a Kyle Snyder type schedule, but instead of going to Russia, I'm going to go to WrestleMania, something to that effect? Do we know any more of that?
He said he'll be making on-screen appearances for the WWE, and that he doesn't even know what all that entails yet. It kind of alluded to like he probably will not be like competing, like he might, get in the ring or something, but not actually wrestle. But I think he will, for the most part, be wrestling close to a full Minnesota schedule.
Wow.
But then still be doing that stuff.
Yeah, because when I went down there last year and visited, they alluded to the fact that they would want you in Orlando for like a training period, and it seemed as though once the guys got older and they understood how the flow of the moves went, then it was pretty easy for them to only show up a couple days a week. But for the young guys, it seemed as though we have them here all the time. They're doing our thing, so they learn our system and all boom, 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 boom. So, is it Gable's going to finish his college career at Minnesota and then move down there, and maybe he won't be a full-time WWE guy until then? Like, I'm very curious to see how it all plays out.
Yes, I am too. I guess I'll watch some WWE maybe. I don't know.
We knew we'd get you, Christian.
Yeah. Only Gable. Only for Gable. Otherwise, I'm covering my ears and my eyes the entire time. But no, very, very exciting. And, it was like big sports news. It wasn't just like, wrestling news. This is like an actual big story. And Gable deserves all that and more. So exciting for him. Got to be excited if you're a Minnesota wrestling fan. Get to see him.
He did say he's known for quite some time. He was going WWE, but just did this to build anticipation.
Do you think that he had discussed with the WWE his desire to wrestle in college? Or do you think that's kind of like a newer thing?
Oh, of course. I think so.
No, I mean like right away. Or do you think it's like...
Well, I don't think this has been... Just because it's been on Gable's mind, I don't think WWE and Gable have been in talks for over a year. Do you?
The NLI thing just came out, so technically he wouldn't even be able to in previous NCAA rules. So yeah, you're right.
I would say probably just since April or so has it been a thing.
A thing. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. From some point today, can everyone apologize for their Gwiz disrespect? JD apologized.
Yeah, I apologize.
JD needs to apologize.
I'd like to take this moment to apologize to absolutely nobody because I called it.
Also, was Mason Paris' ascent over-evaluated? I feel he may have a DeSanto effect where the first time you meet him, he surprises you, but his meetings go, the top guys adjust and neutralize him. Interesting.
Who's neutralized him besides Gwiz? I mean, Gable always had neutralized.
Kurt Fleet.
Kurt Fleet, you're right.
But that's not a first, but he didn't, I don't think.
They'd wrestled multiple times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it does fit the status, I guess.
He does have some... Anytime you have when you think about someone like Austin, he has a unique position, a unique feel, a unique approach to the sport. And I think Mason has that a little bit too. And I think his strength surprised a lot of people. His strength in positions where people aren't strong surprised a lot of people. So I do think there's something to that.
Yeah, I mean his ability to suck in Gwiz's leg when they met at the RTC Cup, I think was very surprising. He was stretched out, and usually at heavyweight we don't see that, and boom, he sucked it in and was able to finish a couple times. That's something that we don't usually see at heavyweight.
The other thing that was present that was not in this meeting was Mason was getting, I think, a lot of counters. He was getting go-behinds against Gwiz, whereas Gwiz didn't take a shot that really even put him in danger of that. Yeah. His attacks were all well-timed. He ended up in really good position. Not in typical... You would see Gwiz, even in his semi-match, he's like, here, and then he does all the crazy stuff and pulls himself up and in. He didn't have to do that against Mason. So I think there may be a little something to it, but the other side of the coin is Mason is still really young. He's someone who we've seen make huge jumps, and I think we took the last 10 months and said, okay, from that 10 months ago to now, he's going to have made another jump. And right now, I think he's just in the middle of another plateau right before another jump up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, not that he's stuck where he
possible. Is. Yeah, no, you're right.
But now it's like, okay, I learned this. Now he's got some adjustments to make. But he's seeing this. you're kind of like, man, you kind of pencil in Gwiz for the next couple teams until.
We have Kirkwood too. I mean, that'd be interesting.
We'll see.
I think if Paris can add some underhook game, which he doesn't have a ton of, and maybe a high crotch also, which I don't believe he shoots all that much, would be beneficial to him.
Yeah, no question. Okay, well, why don't we call it? We're in a little, like 10 minutes over. This was good. Plenty we still didn't talk about. Lots of World Team Trial stuff to get into. Thanks to Adeline Gray for hopping on.
That was great.
Excited about the future of women's wrestling. Excited for this week. Who's number one? Back to back, Friday and Saturday. And we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Oh, yeah.
Ben, JD, Christian Piles, thanks a lot. See you then. Bye.